everyone. What is up? Happy Sunday night and welcome into Attacking Third, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be, alongside Darian Jenkins and Sandra Herrera. I'm Lisa Carlin. We are jumping on immediately following Angel City against Portland Thorns, a 2-0 takedown by Portland Thorns thanks to a brace by Olivia Moultrie. They clinch a spot in the postseason, and now we get to chat about it. But Sandra, guys, I feel like the three of us haven't done a show in perhaps months, and I've missed you both so much.
It's like that meme from the Titanic where she's like, it's been 87 years. That's what it feels like.
That's us right now.
It's been too long, man. Like, they just don't want us to be great. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm just happy to be back here. And what a weekend of games to chat with you both. Like,
y'all, 27 goals.
Let's go.
27 goals this weekend. This is giving circa 2024 match day 1 of NWSL.
And you know what all those goals mean, Darian? That there was really weird defense.
It means terrible defending, but really, really advantageous attack.
In all of these different games and different phases. And we're talking about it, guys. Every single takeaway that we picked out from week 25 action, the playoff picture. Stick around. We might get a player joining us. And then, of course, we'll slot together our best 11, the coach of the week, honorary captain, as we do every week. And you guys love so much. So if you have suggestions for us, all the lines, defense, midfield, forwards, coach, and captain, drop them in the chat if you're with us live on YouTube, because thank you for joining us. It's always good to see you. If you're listening as a pod, thank you so much. And of course, watching on Golazo Network, you know where you can get everything Attacking Third on the Golazo social handles. So thanks for hanging with us. Should we talk some of these biggest takeaways out of this game that we just wrapped up? Because Portland Thorns, thanks to Olivia Moultrie in the run of play and then from the penalty spot, take down Angel City at home in a pretty emotional game. It was the retirement game for Christen, longtime U.S. international forward, and also Ali Riley, the longtime New Zealand player, Sandra, and felt like there was just a lot of emotions in this game, how it all wrapped up.
I mean, in the build up to it as well. Like, all of these things have been announced over the course of the last couple of weeks. I think Ali Riley had her announcement not too long ago, just ahead of our Champions League coverage kickoff, and Christen earlier this week or leading into this match week. So we just knew, like, and even though you have that kind of announcement, or I guess that prep building into these match day moments, doesn't make them any easier. I think when you're taking a look at the type of players who are saying farewell to the game, it's all of these generations of players who are retiring are forcing us to be reflective and in the best of ways. It's really kind of telling, I think, how we're noting their impact on the pitch and really off of it, as well as this full-fledged cast of probably one of the greatest movies that we're ever going to see. It's the movie of, like, building women's professional soccer in the United States. And every one of these players who is saying goodbye have absolutely played a role, from Ali Riley to Christen Press. So not the way they wanted to go out tonight, but yeah, incredible to get to see them get some minutes.
Yeah, Sandra, I mean, hold on. Very well said.
Very well said.
Yeah, very well said. I hope we clip that and run that on social, because I think that encapsulates what these players that are retiring means. Like, you saw the emotion from a bunch of the Angel City players, from some of the Portland players, like players like the Ali Rileys, the Christen Presses, the Alex Morgans. Like, we're seeing them all this generation of players that have truly built women's soccer in the United States and abroad, stepping away from the game. And you see these younger players, these generations, these teams that they built from the ground up, like in LA and Angel City, signing Christen Press, signing Ali Riley. These were marquee signings. This is what brought the heart and soul to this team. Why so many other players wanted to come play for an Angel City, because they got to play alongside an Ali Riley at Christen Press. I mean, a lot of emotion. Sucks to go out with a loss and being out of playoffs. That is tough, but just nature of the game. But I absolutely love that we've just gotten to watch their journeys, and that it gets to end in this way, where I think they're passing the torch into a women's soccer generation and looking forward to probably what we couldn't have even imagined it was going to look like. An Angel City owned by Disney, tons of money signing behind players, like they're leaving it so much better than when they came into it, and it's because of them.
And they're handing that torch to players like Olivia Moultrie, who has also paved a way into the professional game and made it a lot more accessible for younger players. And to me, that was like the weird juxtaposition throughout this game of like saying goodbye to Press and Riley while also seeing a young 20-year-old midfielder like Olivia Moultrie absolutely show out for Portland Thorns and really see what these players have done. And it is allowed a player like Moultrie to be able to succeed. Absolutely. A lot of emotions around this one, but I was really impressed with Olivia Moultrie. If we're talking the football of it all, I have been very impressed with her this year. A couple weeks ago on an A3, someone in the chat called me out on it, and they were like, Lisa, at the start of the season, you said it was going to be make or break this year for Olivia Moultrie. And I did. I said she had to step up. She had to change the mindset that she was going into every single day with and be an absolute leader for Portland, be a goal scorer without so many of their superstars that aren't there in their attacking presence. And Moultrie's done it, guys. She shone so bright in this game today, and not just in her 2 goals, but I think in a lot of her movements and what she does and how she takes the team of Portland and makes them click and connect all the different lines. To me, that has been something that Olivia Moultrie has done just so well.
Olivia Moultrie's a dog. Olivia Moultrie is a young dog that has the boldness of playing as if she's 30 years old. She carries herself with that sort of confidence, the way in which she moves on the pitch, the tackles she gets into, the moments where she's like, you know what, I'm just going to chop this face forward and I'm going to take a shot from outside the 18 and boom, set the tone for the game. I think, Lisa, you said it well, looking back at the beginning of the season. I looked at Portland, I was like, well, hell, they got a lot of midfielders. They've got 8 out of their 11 players are central midfielders. Let's see what they're going to do. And I think that they've had this success because Olivia Moultrie took that on and decided to grow in a way where she can be the attacking force. She can be the one that you don't have to focus on just the 9. I think it's a Christine Sinclair-esque type of player where she's maybe not going to do the flashiest of things, but she's going to take that role of I will get it done for the team. And at such a young age, you guys, like she still is so young, but plays like she's 30. So I'm excited for this Portland side. I think I still have my doubts defensively sometimes with how they play. But hey, if Olivia Moultrie's scoring goals, they shouldn't be worried.
Hey, but they've clinched. They've clinched. So.
I mean, they're in. We just don't know where and who and how they're going to be playing.
Yeah, it's still up in the air.
There's a lot
Shout out to Olivia, though.
But if she has anything to say about it, they're going to be all right. Like,
right.
And that's the vibe around Moultrie right now. And it's hard to believe, but it's like she's showing that evolution of her game, that she's got that dog in her, that she's got a little bit of that, savviness, that awareness. And yes, it's coming at 20. So it feels like, oh my God, this is crazy because she's so young. But also, like, we have to remind ourselves that Olivia Moultrie turned pro when she was 13. So it's
this
like,
is her 5th season in the NWSL. So she is
a
vet.
It's crazy to think that a 20-year-old's like a vet at this point. But I think watching her also kind of navigate this season, like in the international level, as one of these players who's been splitting time between those youth camps and alongside the senior team. I think it shows that you do need to maybe get those types of resources under your belt in order to take those next steps moving forward. I mean, and you called it, Lisa. I mean, at the beginning of this season, that midfield was very difficult to crack for the Thorns. And along the way, Moultrie has presented some problems for that coaching staff to the point where Ina Shagita's traded. Like, she's not on this team, on this Portland Thorns team anymore. And she's Moultrie's really taking control of the opportunities that have been given to her, and obviously making the most of them. But we all know that the best is yet to come because she's so young. But it's wild to see this sort of veteranship that she's almost playing with a little bit right now.
With Portland, now that they've clinched, actually prior to kickoff of this game between Angel City and Portland, due to the result of Gotham Louisville being a 2-2 draw, Angel City were already eliminated. And do players, Darian, do they know that prior to the game? These kickoffs were really close, though. So they're watching. They're like, oh, this was rough.
Yeah, you know already. I mean, I think Angel City, I don't know how to not say this bluntly. You have to blame yourselves. You put yourselves in this situation, dropping points in the season, especially post-international break. I think they've also gone through a lot. Coaching change, losing Alyssa Thompson. They've had players out with pregnancy, big injuries. It's been a difficult year to be on this Angel City team, just a lot of what's gone on. So yeah, you definitely are checking and you're aware of if you especially when you have a Christen Press and Ali Riley you're honoring of, oh, do we possibly get another game? No. So I think even that added to the emotion of tonight of this is truly final. This isn't just the last home game. This is the last game that we'll be seeing these players on the pitch, which doesn't even sound real.
No, I know. And Savvy King, that was a big loss this year. I mean, there
Yeah,
was a lot that Angel City had to go through, and the fact that 2 match days left, there was still a chance for them despite being so low in the table. I think it was Leanne Sanderson on the broadcast of this game that said, like, yeah, but there's also an element of if you're not in the top 10, top 8 consistently throughout the season, like the chances of you making it at the end are pretty slim.
Yeah.
Needless to say. So that does it. Angel City, they fall 2-0 to Portland Thorns, who get the goals and they clinch a spot in the postseason. But earlier today, we had Gotham Racing Louisville 2-2. That one ended. And Gotham, with this draw, they clinch a playoff spot. And they played really well at home at Sports Illustrated Stadium. But how would you rate it, Sandra, the performance for Gotham as they head into the postseason?
Honestly, like it was a really good performance, but at the same time, there were stretches of this game where you're like, surely this scoreline is incorrect. Like Gotham should be up like 4-1, 3-1 at certain stretches. And I think it was frustrating. And we saw some of that frustration maybe settle in a little bit with the lack of that finishing. But I think it's a good thing. Obviously it's a very good and healthy thing to see Rose Lavelle and Midge Purse increasingly become like attacking factors for this Gotham team at the exact right time that the club needs them to be. We're talking 2 weeks out from the playoffs at this point. We now have in history books and on record 2 consecutive back-to-back playoff seasons in which Rose Lavelle was elite. I mean, I think people forget how incredible she was for the Reign and their build up to that championship final in 2023. And then you have last year's playoff run with Gotham and how incredible she was for them as well. So she is absolutely this player who is firing on all cylinders when you wanted her to. And she's definitely one of these more veteran players where you're looking at and you're saying, okay, where and how and when are we going to be getting the most out of Rose Lavelle if she has sort of become this kind of one half of the season only player? And I think if you're Gotham, you're very excited that it's the second half in which she is putting it all together.
She's never won an NWSL championship, correct? She's won the Shield, but no.
I don't think she's ever won. She's been in a final.
Wow. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of those players, I think, like McCall and I were talking, we did our Libra zodiac sign, so everybody go check that out on the YouTube channel. We were talking about a player like Sam Mewis, who you think, oh, that player's literally won everything in their career at every single level. Rose also slots in there, but the one thing that's evaded is, which feels very simple because it's Rose effing Lavelle and NWSL championship. But I do think this team, I don't think this was Gotham's best performance. I think credit to Louisville, credit to Jordan Bloomer, saved them multiple times. The post was their lifeline tonight. Gotham's Achilles heel is transitions. They are not good at defensive transitions. If a team can be direct and counter quickly, that is where all hell kind of breaks loose. And then when those moments happen, just thinking of playoffs when they're playing a team like a Kansas City, like an Orlando, who have speed, who can turn them around quickly, hit them on set pieces, they lose their footing for 5 to 10 minutes in a match after that. And that's my only concern with Gotham, because they are so talented. They are stacked. They have Roosevelt. They have Astaire. Jaden Shaw starting to cook. Midge Purse starting to cook. But it's that one piece that I know every single team, whether it's Louisville, Houston, whoever they're going to play, your mindset is, transition against this team because they can't handle it. It'll knock them for a good 5 minutes. We'll have relief.
That's exactly what Louisville did. That's how they hurt them.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of teams have hurt Gotham. But I feel like they're still able to like squeak out points and wins, even in this one. Like it felt like Gotham could have had 3 goals, even 4 goals in this one. It's almost like, okay, we'll just score a bunch. We'll get the ball to Shaw and Purse, Lavelle up top. We'll create a lot of chaos. And if we concede 1 or 2 on transition, it'll be all right in the end. But to me, the playoffs is where you can't play that game anymore.
No.
And they could get burned depending on who they're matched up with, right? Like some teams aren't as apt at the transition game. And
but would you say Louisville's like the best team at transition?
No.
And not at all. I would not think Louisville, that's a transit. No. That's my concern. And even when I was watching the game, the commentators pulled up their home record and they were 4-4-4 at home. At their home stadium. It's a difficult place to play in for some reason. That is terrible.
It's not good.
I don't know why I'm going in on Gotham. Sorry. I love my Gotham girls. Don't get me wrong. But just the way you posted, Lisa, it kind of made me laugh because I was like, what would I rate that?
Well, how would you rate it?
Not a good transition team.
Yeah.
But playoffs, it don't matter. They're in. They're in. They sealed the deal. Louisville still hanging on by a thread. Please don't place 9th once again.
It doesn't feel good.
Why are Louisville the darlings of the NWSL now?
I know.
Maybe, but it also
everyone's like cheering for them. Everyone wants Louisville in the postseason. Even like Gotham fans. I saw someone in our chat be like, "I'm a Gotham fan and I'm heartbroken for Louisville now."
You almost had it.
It's painful. I'm not gonna lie. Like, as beautiful as that free kick execution was by Earls Lavelle, like coming out of that game, I'm like, I don't feel great for Racing Louisville. And I mentioned this off mic. I'm like, I don't know if it's the spooky season of it all or the witching hour of it all or what, or the haunting history of racing, where you're just like, oh no, is the thing gonna happen again? Where they just find themselves so close but unable to get it done. I mean, this would have been this almost felt at a certain moment where this was going to be that real like leapfroggy, trajectory changing, momentum shifting potential win, and
breaking the curse
just snatched away by Rose Lavelle and Gotham. So I mean they've got a small international window here. There's a break, they can reset. They've got a very decisive decision game now, and fingers crossed.
So Louisville on decision day will play Bay. They'll play Bay.
Oh, well.
And other spot is for North Carolina.
Bay, but yeah. that's great for Louisville.
So North Carolina also has to play Gotham, and then Louisville will play Bay. So it's North Carolina and Louisville fighting for the last playoff spot. Darian, you kind of alluded to it. Louisville against Bay. Like, they have to get it done. They have to, though. Is it too much? Is the pressure too much for them?
No, it's not. It's not too much. And I think Bev Yanez is also, mind you, let's remind ourselves, Bev is incredible. She's done this as a player, now doing it as a coach. She knows what it takes. Bay sometimes surprises us. It's never for a full 90 minutes. Never, ever for a full 90 minutes. But they have some firepower up top. I'm a little nervous for this game for Louisville, but if you're looking at the teams you want to play to try to clinch a playoff spot, no offense to Bay's one of those teams that you want to go face. They're already out. Their coach is leaving. There's going to be a lot of turnover. They've had a lot of turnover this season. They've written it off. Sure, they're going to come out and fight and try to at least spoil a little bit. But that's the team that you want to go play looking at this right now. So Louisville, the darlings, we all have faith in. We don't want you to place 9th. Come on. You girls can do it.
It's not going to be easy. And them being a bruising team who, want to elbow their way to the playoff, which I'm here for. I love a bruiser. But Bay FC haven't had a win in over 100 days. It is the one game that you have remaining in this year that you can build literally anything out of.
And you have nothing to lose.
And you have nothing to lose. And so it is
Before
going
you
to
host
be
the championship,
difficult.
you got to go to Louisville. I
It's
don't
going to
know.
be
This is not
very
looking
tough.
good for Louisville.
It's going to be it. I think this is going to be the game to watch on decision day. It's going
Yeah,
to
I
be
think it is too. The thing that Louisville has, though, it's a tough stadium to play at. That travel's tough. You either have to have a chartered flight or a private flight to come in, which is never enjoyable because it's just you feel everything in the air. You're more fatigued going there. The stadium's massive. I think that's a big advantage for Louisville. Bays for sure, Sandra. I think you said it. They're gonna put up a fight. You want to prove something. It's the last ditch effort to just have a bright spot going into the off season, especially for a lot of players that you don't know what next year's gonna be like with the new coach coming in.
We'll see.
Yeah, but Louisville's record at home, what was it? 4-3-5.
Oh, sounding like Gotham's,
Lisa,
huh?
I didn't even think you were going to bring that up. I'm like, there's already enough like
I
clouds
had
over the
to.
game. You're like, wait
It's
a minute.
sounding like
Here's
Gotham
another thing.
Sounding like Gotham. It's sounding pretty bad.
at
Ooh,
home.
Tough.
At home.
Yeah.
That'll be a big one. Guys, decision day has proven to be so much movement. We're going to talk about it later in the show and some of our playoff predictions, what you guys predict listening and watching us tonight. So stick with us. We're going to take a quick break on A3. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to A3 presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. We're talking week 25, biggest takeaways. Some of the recent games from today, we already touched on, Darian, but when you think back to Saturday's matches, Friday's matches, biggest takeaways, what stood out to you?
We got some goals. I mean, the match of Washington Spirit and Orlando, it's always tough when you're in studio and you drive home, especially for me because it's far. So I miss a chunk of the second half, but I was listening to it and it was like, I've said before we left, oh, Marta needs to come in. Like, that's what needs to change. Marta needs to come in and lead this team. That's what's missing for Orlando because Washington Spirit's kind of mowing over them in the middle of the park. She comes in and flips the game on its head, and it's a 5-goal game and wins it for Orlando. And I actually think this is exactly what Orlando needed to go into playoffs. Something that was a gritty, ugly win where they have to come back
on the road
against probably one of the best teams in the league right now. I think between Kansas City and Spirit, the injuries that their star players have, that's a little up in the air. But I think with Orlando, this is going to be one of those games that you look back on in playoffs and are like, no, we have it in us. We came over this. We can do this. So I thought I really enjoyed that game. I think this last week, especially, it was big statements from teams. Like going into playoffs, this is where you have to say, this is where we're at. This is who you're going to face next. And even Houston being out, beating Kansas City. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. But beating Kansas City, I was like,
crazy.
That was a statement. And they played really good, decisive football.
Absolutely.
Tactics were brilliant.
That game was electric for me.
Yeah.
In Kansas City,
lowest scoring game, but
it doesn't matter.
Game.
It was the best game, especially because leading into the weekend, it was almost, I wrote that game off. I was like, whatever is going to happen in Houston, Kansas City. It doesn't really matter. Kansas City's probably going to rotate a bunch and it doesn't matter. No, Vlatko Andonovski rolls out with one of his strongest lineups that we've seen from Kansas City over the last 4 or 5 games because he's been rotating a lot. And Houston get the job done. They snap the 17-game unbeaten streak. They keep a shutout. And to me, that says a lot against this Kansas City side who had some really good looks and good chances. It's not like Kansas City played uncharacteristically on the day. I think there was a big loss of Temwa Shawinga going down and out in the opening 30 minutes of this match, which definitely changed things. She has been questionable, dealing with some injury and soreness over the last couple of weeks, and she got the start today, or in this game. But to me, it was the tactics from Houston and Puntagam and Yasmin Ryan playing so well, suffocating Kansas City and not succumbing to the Kansas City's game, which is a lot of quick transition and high press. Houston brought it to them. This was such a fun game to watch this weekend.
I mean, Jane Campbell standing on her head. Like, this wasn't, I mean, this goal for Houston didn't come until almost like 70 minutes into the game. So there was just like a lot of needing to manage things in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that. And that's commendable. And you hate to see it in that it's like they're eliminated. Like, they end up getting eliminated in this weekend because of results elsewhere in Gotham. But they got a huge 3 points in a way that also shows that Kansas City is not unbeatable. It shows that they had a lot of fight, that they were still trying to stay in that playoff push as long as they could. But unfortunately, they're very, very slow. Mm-hmm. Poor start to the first half of the season came biting them in the end. And it just is more proof in that pudding of that. No, you can't lose your season in the first half, but you can definitely set yourself up for failure in the second half. And that's tough. You have to wonder if any of those games early in the year that they maybe could squeak out a draw here or there if things go different for the Houston side. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, didn't. Jane Campbell had an incredible performance against KC. And I think for KC, I think maybe it's a tough loss to swallow in the sense where you're like, okay, we did enough, but we just didn't get the win. You know, what do we need to do to make sure that we reset ourselves over the break to not allow ourselves to linger in a loss like this ahead of playoffs? Because everything around this team, they've been Shield winners at this point for weeks.
They've been on cruise control.
Yeah.
I almost sort of think like they might take this and be grateful for it, ahead of a decision day and ahead of playoffs, because they maybe, even when you are standing on top of the mountain, you have to have those really windy days just to remind yourself that you are that strong and you can endure. So
think back to Orlando. Yeah, think back to Orlando last year. They won the Shield and then they stumbled and they got hit a little bit, but that allowed them to learn from where some of their weaknesses are and how they could tighten up heading into the playoffs, which then ultimately allowed them to win the championship. But to me, that says a lot more about Houston in this game than necessarily Kansas City, because Houston were fighting for so much. That win over Kansas City was said a lot to the league, said we are here, you cannot sleep on us. It kept their playoff hopes alive. They controlled their destiny as much as they could in these final days, which was not what we just said about Angel City at the top of the show.
No, it gave playoff energy to me. Like Houston versus a narrow win for the underdog team who is supposed to lose to the Giant, like, is absolute playoff energy. And I think if you're the current, you and Vlatko Andonovski and your coaching staff, you have to, they have a ton of things to look at here that they need to present their players moving forward. Like, obviously over the break, there's probably going to be those evaluations around Temwa Shawinga. Like, what is that injury? How is it going to look? Will they have her? How will they maintain her moving forward? And once they have that information, what discussions are you having with your other attackers in terms of what you expect from them if you are, without her for an extended amount of time?
Okay, let's talk Temwa. Let's talk Temwa Shawinga. She's a cheat code for this Kansas City team for the NWSL. She makes Kansas City more lethal, if that's even possible, when she is on the pitch. She starts in this game and she ends up getting hurt, Darian. Should she not have started? What's kind of the conversation around this?
Of course she's going to start. It's been interesting to listen/watch the discourse. This is all my opinion. I don't know if anyone watches Housewives. It's all my opinion. The discourse around this has made me laugh because she's a pro athlete. She's a professional soccer player. She's broken records. You're winding down in the season to go to playoffs. Vlatko's putting out his best 11. Of course, Temwa's going to be in that. Whether we don't know, maybe she was going to play 50 minutes or just a 45. Who knows? But you
Who
also have to
knows?
think with an injury, something like that, you also need to have minutes. You're trying to maintain a fitness, you're trying to maintain whatever it may be, your RPE going into an international break. That's also the thought. Oh, we're going to have a week off, we can do whatever. Of course she's going to play. This is a person that's hungry. You've worked this hard all season to get to these points where you're coming to play against a Houston Dash who's playing the best football we've literally ever seen Houston play. It comes with the territory of being a pro athlete. And it's incredibly unfortunate. I feel for her. Watching her get carried off was heartbreaking. I'm really interested to see what actually happened to her. So thoughts and prayers to her, sending all the healing energy from me and my crystals that I possibly can, and the super moon that's going to come one day. But yeah, to me, this comes with the territory of being a professional athlete. It sucks. Major injuries suck, but this is what happens.
Especially because you have to think about the warm-up. So if a player, say Temwa was always going to get minutes in this game, whether it was going to be the first 15, the last 15, or 45, whatever it may be, you then have to work with the training staff and the player to know, okay, are you ready to go after warm-ups? Is that when it is most beneficial for you to play and get minutes because you've just gone through warm-ups, or to go through warm-ups and then sit for 45 minutes and then potentially go in and we have to pull you again? No. So that's another wrinkle in this, more like the logically thinking, not so much like she's a professional athlete, she's always going to play, which is there, of course, Darian, but more like the technical medical side of it.
Yeah.
Warm-ups, you're going to start the game. That way, if she feels anything, we can pull her and we haven't wasted a sub and she's fresh and warm and ready to go from the first whistle.
Yeah.
It's so devastating and it's elevated because Temwa Chewinga is having another season in which she's not only leading the Golden Boot race, I'm sure she's leading everybody's finalist list for MVP because of how incredible of a player she is. And so, like, yes, there's naturally going to be the discourse around it. But Darren, I can't tell you how validating it is to just hear you speak on it as someone who's just not too far removed from competing in this league herself. I mean, everything that I've had, you know, in terms of discussions with former players or current players or around the concept of like this type of stuff is like, yes, you want to play. I mean, in considering the moment in time in which it happens, like you're just in front of an international break. You are not going to be with your club for the next couple of weeks. There's international play. There happens to be international play in front of this player who would have been probably expected to perform as well. Mm-hmm. And that is like the highest honor for a player in their professional career, to represent their nation's side and compete in that. And so you have this very prolific player for both, yes, club, but also for country. There was no way that Temwa Chewinga was not going to get minutes ahead of this international break. And she had been rotated already at this point, over the last 4 weeks?
Yes.
You know, it's like, of course she needed to get minutes. So I'm not super here for like the pointing of fingers and being like, oh, this should have never happened. It's just letting me know that folks care very much about this player, yes, in their club, but it's also just like, pay attention to the ballers, man. Like this was always
read the room.
Was always going to be a game in which they wanted to get back. And Kayla Sharples was back in the mix for this. Another one who has been out for weeks and weeks and weeks, just trying to like get the time off, and they wanted to get her to a good place. And they said, this is also the window of time in which you need to get minutes again, because there will not be another time before the playoffs, just decision day. So it's just, it's my sincerest and deepest sympathies. I really hope it is literally just tightness that we're talking about in that area for Temwa Chewinga. I know the imaging did not look great, like how she was carried off. That makes us all a little tight and nervous. But as far as like why did she and why shouldn't she have it? Just, she's a baller. She's an MVP for this league in this. And she was always going to get those minutes, and it's very unfortunate that she came off with an injury.
Luckily, she has a week, hopefully, to recover, get get all the recovery that she needs. Absolutely, like heartbreaking for Temwa Chawinga, heartbreaking for Trinity Rodman. We touched on the Washington-Orlando game, but that came out that for Trinity Rodman, it is an MCL sprain, which is one of the lesser knee injuries that a player can suffer, which is a great thing. So no timeline there on Trinity Rodman. Of course, we'll keep you updated on W Galazzo's socials. Follow all of them because our team does a great job getting you the updates as soon as they are released, as soon as we hear from the players or the staff. And we're sending all of our love, patience, strength, and well wishes to those players as we head into the final week, final decision day, and then the postseason of the NWSL. It is here. It is terrifying to think about. So we have 7 teams that have clinched. 1 spot is left in the NWSL standings for 2 teams to take it. It's either going to be Racing Louisville or North Carolina Courage. North Carolina will play Gotham on that final match day and decision day. Louisville will take on Bay FC. Oh, it's a big one. We'll have you all covered here on Attacking Third, but don't go anywhere. We've got our weekly best 11 coming up next. Stick with us.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it? Can you handle it? The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I love when we get those Champions League
know.
on here. It makes me so excited. Guys, you can watch Champions League, Women's Champions League on CBS. If you didn't know, now you know. Hey guys, welcome back to Attacking Third, presented by CarMax, the way car buying should be. We are talking our weekly best 11, everyone's favorite segment that we're running through: forwards, midfielders, defenders, coach of the week, and captain of the week. Who wants to start?
Should we start from the back?
Let's go, dude.
Cool. Let's start from the
my
back.
queen.
Okay, goalkeeper, easy, Jane Campbell. Jennifer, 6 saves, shutout against Kansas City, broke their 17-match unbeaten streak, I believe. I thought she was incredible, and I think between watching her deal with starting, not starting, captaining the team, being an Iron Woman for Houston, I think she's handled it all with such grace. So also wanted to give that because that is not easy to manage.
And in and out of the starting lineup too. Like she's had some back and forth. Yeah. Love that.
Okay. So Jennifer in the back. For defense, Sonis. Starting with Sonis. I thought she was so good today for Louisville. I mean, going toe-to-toe with Midge Purse, with Jaden Shaw, their rotations. Mind you, she's a forward. Still gets a goal, still bombing down the pitch. Love that for her. I think last time I did this, I also had her on my best 11. Who keeps giving me the defense? I don't know why. Then, Christen McNabb. My former teammate, got a goal with San Diego. I think we don't have her on here too much because she was always one of those more quiet defenders. She doesn't get up too much. And we finally got to see her get on the scoreboard. And I thought she did really well. And San Diego, Sandra, gave Chicago a little bit of a spanking. Yeah, that was terrible for Chicagoans. Chicagoans?
No.
Okay. And then I wanted to give Carrie Bello a shout. She had 2 goals this weekend. Sadly, one for her team, but then one against her team. So I love though that, she scored the own goal. Super unfortunate. Positioning wasn't great, but literally less than 2 minutes later, top of the 18, scores an absolute banger for the Pride to get back into the game. And I think especially before halftime, that's exactly what they needed to try to get back in. So shout out to Carrie Bello. It was a beautiful finish. And then the last one was tough, you guys. My last one was tough. I want to give Paige Mateer a shout because I thought that she was great for the Spirit. I think she had an incredible game.
That means she doesn't get it.
Rafaeli, I thought was so good for the Pride. I thought she was so good. And I think that when she's a part of that back line, Orlando looks like last year's Orlando. They look strong. Her ability to play out of the back is so good. I think what she brings in the attack is also lethal. She didn't have a goal granted or get an assist like Paige Mateer did. But if we're thinking about a center back, Rafaeli's the girl, or do we go another outside back and just sort of makeshift this whatever we want it to be?
I mean, I'm here for an Orlando Pride defender on the back. Honestly, I know it's but I don't know.
I Told
I
you.
want to hear. I want to hear.
Like,
Lisa
I
talk
shouted.
about
This was
the-
a little bit of a group project, as it tends to be. We talk about this in our group message sometimes, and I think that the forced own goal by Paige Mater, her assist to Cantore, defensively, she did a really good job in this game. But I will say, like, they lost. Like, right, Washington lost in this game. And I agree that if Hoffa is playing for Orlando, she makes them better. The issue is she hasn't been
100%.
playing, and she hasn't been playing consistently, and she has struggled to stay healthy this year.
Okay, but this is team of the week.
I know.
Week 25.
Lisa, we're in the now.
We're in the now. Okay, well, you know who else you could have given it to? The North Carolina Post, because Bay had like 3 off the post.
True. Same with Louisville's post and crossbar. That could be our honorary captain this week.
Honestly, it has to be the Post. It might have
Okay.
to. I like it. I'll give it to you, D.
Okay, so Raffaele, Christen McNabb, Carrie Abello, Janine Sonis for my back line, and
Jane
Campbell. Yep.
Yeah. Love the shout for Christen McNabb. She's a set piece specialist to some extent, getting on the end of balls.
Yeah, she's one of those people that you do not want to be marking or go against, or that's going to mark you, because she doesn't care. She's going to hit you and the ball no matter what. So I love that she finally got a goal. Hate defending her though.
All right. I love our defense. Sandra, hit us with the midfield core. You've already got a lot of shouts in the chat, so I hope you have some ability to back up who you pick.
This is both like probably a week where it was like easiest to get midfielders and also like really difficult because there's been some incredible performances. Like I had some struggles with like, do I put like Dudinha like in this midfield, and have her part of the mix, but even though it was like such an incredible performance, like it was also against a miserable Chicago side. And so I don't know if that like shifts things for me. And I gotta say, I think it might. We were having some fun, in our group chat. And I was like, I don't know. I really think like anyone, like a child could have scored on Chicago. That like it was just a terrible performance. So I don't know. Like I do wonder if that's gonna affect things. A huge game for me was that Gotham and Racing game. I was so ready for the matchup between Taylor Flint and Jalen Howell. And I got to say, I'm giving it to Jalen Howell this week. And when I thought that I might not have another Gotham player in this midfield, I cannot ignore Rose Lavelle. And I'm keeping her in this midfield as well. And I'm sorry, Olivia Moultrie, we had so much to say about her at the top of this show. An incredible performance in week 25 for Portland. And really one of those, it kind of just feels like this I'm arriving kind of moment for Olivia Moultrie. It's been a very interesting season for Portland, a lot of highs and lows, but the consistency in which she's performing at this point is making her a key factor for Portland, and she's producing. She's doing it again in week 25. So I got her in the midfield for week 25 too.
Oh, I love that shout for Olivia Moultrie, and right on cue, because we've got the brace queen herself joining us following this Portland win. Hey, Olivia, what's up? Welcome into A3.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I love any opportunity to join you lovely ladies and talk about soccer. So
you are such a sweetheart. Congrats on the win. Congrats on clinching the postseason. Congrats on your brace. As Sandra was just alluding to, we've talked about you and the Portland Thorns team a lot on A3, and you've leveled up this year. You look like a different player in your game. Have you noticed that about yourself, and what has changed?
I think honestly, like I definitely have felt the shift a little bit. I think a lot of people wrote us off this season. I think there was kind of that extra fire, not only for me, but for the team in general. I do just think the years that I've spent at Portland, like I have spent that time with people kind of pushing me and allowing me to really be who I want to be. And so I feel like this year has just been a big step for me in growing into kind of that player that I want to be, both with the Thorns and hopefully consistently with the national team. So yeah, it's been really exciting, and I just want to continue to build off of that. But yeah, I'm feeling really good.
Well, look good, feel good, play good. And also I love that the goal, this is very poetic, the whole goal's going behind you.
I'm in a random hallway in the stadium.
Yeah, very meta. I'm here for it. But Olivia, we got to just gas you up at the top of the show, so deserved. But your goal, well, your first goal tonight, An absolute banger. Can you just, I love hearing about players are thinking as they're going through these moments, because you're facing midfield, you're like, you know what, I'm going to chop to my right, take a touch. What was going through your mind when you had this opportunity?
So, like, early in the game, and we had talked about it in the scout, is like overloading the midfield, kind of finding the half space pockets. And so, obviously, like trying to really operate there. And then when I got it, I'm definitely thinking, like, okay, face up, make a play, right? And then I'm like, okay, if they're going to give me this much space, like, I'm going to rip it. So here we are. But just trying to read the moment and the cues. And we had done a lot of work on it in training this past week. So, definitely felt like the pictures that we had worked on were presented, which is always, what you want. That's the ideal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love how you're like, they gave me the space and I punished them. Like,
Yeah,
so good.
they gave it to me, so I took it and I scored a banger. No, I love that. Shout out to the nails. Can we get a nail check real quick?
Spooky season.
Let's
I got a
go.
ghost on this one,
cute.
and I got a little spider web on this one.
Cute.
Ghost and spider. Y'all, listen. The goals that you're scoring are scary right now, and the defenders should be afraid of going up against you for sure. I wanted to actually give you an opportunity to maybe get a little reflective. Something else we were chatting about, because you all were going up against Angel City, was obviously the retirements of Christen and Allie Riley. And there's been a lot of moments, unfortunate retirement moments. I mean, you all just said, paid homage to Christen Sinclair with the retirement celebration as well. So many of these players were foundational in growing women's soccer, in the NWSL specifically. You are one of its next-gen players, present-day players, growing week to week. What is it sort of meant to you to sort of be part of these kind of farewells and these moments with players that you watched building this league?
Honestly, it's so exciting. Like, I remember kind of trying to fight my way into the league, and honestly, part of my own speed in which I wanted it to happen is I wanted to play against these players like Megan Rapinoe, Christen Press. I wanted to play with Sink. I was like, can we hurry this up? Because I don't know how much longer they want to play. So I'd really like to take advantage of the opportunities while they last. And yeah, just getting to see them kind of have their moment, they deserve it. They put in so much work. And I mean, Allie and Christen touched on it in their retirement speeches out on the field. But they've been around for the beginning, and the stadiums that we're playing in now and the fans we're playing in front of now, they experience every varying level of that for it to now kind of consistently be at the place that it is. And so they just fought through so much, and it's so cool for them to number one, get that moment in front of now 20,000 people instead of 4 or 5. So that's so special. And yeah, I'm glad I've gotten the opportunity to play from them and play against them, play with them, learn from them as much as possible. But yeah, I got to give them both hugs on the field, and obviously been on the recap podcast with Christen and Tobin. Just any chance I have to soak up knowledge from them, I'm going to do it. But yeah, they've had amazing careers, and so happy for them. So.
Okay, so you got to watch the ceremony post-game and give them both hugs. Did you say anything to them? Did they say anything to you? Any little final tidbits of advice?
I immediately was just to Allie first, because I saw her first. I was just such a cool career you've had. Honestly, just so cool to be on the field with you and tell you, I'm so happy that you get to have your moment now. And she was just really appreciative. Obviously, I'm sure she's caught up in the moment and really excited about what's about to happen. And then Christen, I know a little bit more personally. So she was like, 2 goals. I was like, no. Let's focus on your retirement ceremony now. But yeah, just really cool to see that. And Christen has been super complimentary, and Tobin as well. So I've really appreciated that. And they've given me some good advice along the way for sure. But I feel like I'm going to keep that a little bit secret. But yeah, just personal stuff that has made a big difference for me. And I mean, I'll give away that Tobin at the beginning of the year, she was like, I think you should really hone in on the free kicks. And I was like, you know what, you're right. So she was the one who really pushed that to happen, and it's made a huge difference.
And then you score one of those tonight. Even better. Well, penalty tonight for that one. When I want to ask about the penalty, though, because this was your second one of the year that you got to step up to the spot and take, and you bury this one. You absolutely crush it. Whose decision is that? Is that a team decision, your decision? What picks you to be the penalty taker?
So, I mean, obviously we've had a lot of back and forth with the team this year. We definitely have people who can step up and put them away. Sam and I had talked about it even just after the Bay game. We were kind of she's like, you're on a roll. If you want it, just tell me. And I was like, okay, thank you, Sam. I really appreciate that. And obviously I trust her, but we do have a list, but it's kind of she put her faith in me that if I felt like I wanted it, she kind of was like, you're on a roll. If you want it, go take it. And she looked at me when we got the call, and she's like, I was like, yeah, I want it. So, here we are.
Incredible goals tonight. Obviously, the 3 points is huge, and they're coming ahead of an international window. You're getting the call up with USWNT. Can you speak a little bit about maybe how that has also kind of helped in your development this year in particular? You're one of these players who's had some unique experiences building alongside both the U23 program and the senior team as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think for me, like, my perspective with the national team is obviously to take advantage of every moment. Like, I can control what I can control with Portland and do what I do and play the best that I can play. But obviously I don't control whether that's going to yield the results that I want quite yet. But yeah, just trying to like make it as hard as a decision for her as possible. I have felt really good just with my team these past couple weeks, especially just coming back after the international break earlier in the year. And yeah, like I'm focusing on myself and kind of what I talked about earlier, becoming that player that I want to be. And when those call-ups do come, like obviously I am extremely excited. Like it's always an honor to represent your country in that way. And I just want to continue to build on every moment that I get and control the things that I can control. But every time I get to step on the field with the national team, truly is like, that's what the ultimate goal was. I mean, among other things, but that was one of the biggest ones, is to be able to represent my country in that way. So yeah, I want to take advantage of every moment I get there, and 100% I think that will help shape me into the player that I want to be. So.
Olivia, congrats. A brace tonight, 3 points and a dub. You clinched the postseason, and now you get to head off and compete with the U.S. women's national team. What a Sunday night, my gal. Plus, the A3 chat is giving you so much love. Can you see the comments now that we just
Yes.
on the screen?
Oh, I love it. Appreciate everyone out there.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this week with national team stuff, and good luck in the playoffs.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Bye, Olivia.
Bye.
Thank you.
Wow, how perfect that she jumped on right when you were giving her your love for your midfield, Sandra.
There's no way I'm taking her out, no matter who you recommend. Keep it moving. Just
Imagine if Sandra last minute was like, you know what? I don't want to come out with some recency bias, but
Sunday made a difference. That's all I got to say.
We're always pulling the recency bias one. Okay, well, I got incredibly distracted by her interview. Who were your midfielders again? Can you tell me?
I went with Howell, Lavelle, and Moultrie.
Okay, great. I want to give honorable mention to Yasmin Ryan because she played a great game with Houston and she had the assist on the goal. Like, she had a great game. All right, should I run through my forwards?
I want to hear it. Let's go.
All right, guys, let's do this. Marta, you come on. You change a game that immediately, plus you force the own goal and then the penalty, which ends up being the game-winning goal. Absolutely, to take down Washington Spirit. You're on my best 11 for the week. Manaka for North Carolina Courage. She got a hat trick, guys. And she got the hockey assist to the Shinomi goal. Now, they did dominate over Bay, but her goals were so like forward. They were very Harry Kane-esque to some extent. And I love that for Manaka because she does such a good job on all sides of the ball. And that's the level that North Carolina needs Manaka playing at as they head into decision day to hopefully clinch a postseason spot for the Courage. So those are my two. And then I am also throwing in there Dudinia because she did play in the attacking line. She got 2 goals. And the first goal that she scored was around 4 defenders that she had to snake out of. It was a scrappy goal, plus the assist on Delphine Cascarino's goal to make it 1-0. So game changer for me for San Diego, despite how poor of a performance it was for the Stars. Absolutely, Dudinia is on my list.
We're really twisting that dagger into the Stars today.
Sorry, Stars.
Hey, call it like you see it, and it was bad, y'all. So
it was bad. It was bad. They had their moment, and this weekend was not it. Lisa, I love that. I do want to give honorable mention to Ryan Garris. I thought she came in, balled out. They beat Kansas City. Like that is so freaking tough to do. And then to be a game changer off the bench and have the cutest of cutest interviews with your little son at the end. I loved it. Just an honorable mention. I think your 3 is perfect, but honorable mention.
I like that honorable mention, but I'm going to give some love to Houston in my coach of the week because I want to give it to Fabrice Gautreau. That was 100%. I wanted to nominate because even when we're going through this best 11, I'm like, Houston had such a freaking great weekend and a great game. And they're not in our midfield. They're not in our front line. Like, we did give them love defensively, which was a lot of work against Kansas City. So to me, I think we have to nominate Fabrice Cottrell as our coach of the week.
Yeah, 100%. It was the only right answer.
Yeah,
I would have argued with anybody if they said something different.
Okay.
I'm with it. I think someone had to do the deed. Someone had to knock Kansas City back into reality that, yes, you are mighty and on top of the mountain, but this is NWSL and you are about to go into the playoffs where anything can happen. So they made it difficult. They had a plan and they executed it. I agree. It should be Fabrice Cottrell.
And for Houston, knowing that they had to just do what they could control, which was play the Shield winners, the best team in the league, going 17 games undefeated. And it was no easy task to do that. And then, of course, some other things didn't go their way today, and Houston is out of the playoffs. But that says a lot to me about the coaching staff and the mindset that they put those players in this week leading up to it, the tactics and the scouting that they put into against Kansas City. So congrats to Houston. This was a big one for Fabrice Cottrell too. I'm excited to see what happens next year just because they're out of the playoffs. Like, to me, the next 2026 for Houston, look out.
Well,
go
ahead, Sandra.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, oh, thank you. No, I think that these are those kinds of performances that you keep in your back pocket over the course of the off season. It's what you are building with and recruiting with along the way. Like, they're going to have to continue to build up this roster if they do want to cross that playoff line eventually. And they have to have these kinds of performances. The coaches and the executives have to say, like, here's where we were. So close, a day away from potentially making these playoffs. And we think you're the one that's going to get us over the hump. Like, come on through.
That part.
So, it was really cool seeing some of these teams get really rough and tumble in the second half of the season and reminding everybody that, like, this is the most competitive league in the world. The parity does exist, and it exists in NWSL.
That part. Sandra, I was going to say something similar. This is, when we talked to Orlando last year when they won, they were like, you know what, last year scarred us. We didn't make playoffs. We just barely missed it. Performances early on came to bite us. We didn't want that to happen again. That was our motivator. This Houston side, not only is it the motivator for next season, this is how you retain talent. Houston is now looking like, when you watch that game, I thought they're playing beautifully. They're crunchy passes. They're decisive. Everybody's on the same level. You can see the up, back, and throughs, the patterns they worked on to clearly break Kansas City down. You saw the best of these players. Puntigam had a great game. That's not always someone you give a shout out for Houston. You were always talking about Yaz, always. Delaney Sheehan finally looked like herself. That's the team that you want to build with and keep that core. And I think that performance was such a statement for those players currently, and also bringing in players for the next season and the next season. So I love it. Shout out to Houston. Haven't given them love all season, but that was chef's kiss.
Yeah. You compared Houston to Orlando from 2024 or 2023 into 2024. And now it's Kansas City. Last year, they were like, we did not win anything. And now look at them. That's a really good comparison for Houston Dash. Okay. So congrats, Fabrice. You're our coach of the week. Captain of the week, Sandra, who are you nominating?
I mean, we're talking about it already. It's another one of those difficult years where we're saying a lot of goodbyes. We didn't even have time in this show. We're closing it out. We didn't even have time to show some love to Lou Barnes and her final home game for Seattle Reign. I mean, talk about an absolute NWSL legend, like doing it all with one club too. Like, I'm sorry, we are never going to see that ever again in the existence of NWSL. And that's a good thing because there's just like so many more mechanisms for player movement and agency and things like that. But that does also make it very, very special to witness what she has done with Seattle. And who knows, like maybe it's one of those things that they rally around into the playoffs, getting one for their old heads, for one of their old G's. So I think any of the players that we saw kind of get celebrated over the course of this weekend should be a dual captain of the week between Lou Barnes, Allie Riley, and Christen Press. Thank you all so much for your service.
Absolutely. No arguments here, even if it's for the post. I like that one, Sandra, the honorary captain for the post that we said earlier. But yeah, this is a good one with those 3 players. And we will still get to see Lou Barnes because Seattle made it into the postseason.
I love that. I also want to add in Christen Hamilton and Mal Weber.
Let's go.
I think
Yes.
there's no
Yes.
rules. There's no rules, everybody,
There's
with the
no
starting
rules.
11. We can do whatever we want. There are no rules. So I think we should have everybody in it. Mal Weber, Christen Hamilton, Kristen Press, Allie Riley, Lou Barnes. Run it up, fit it in the graphic. We can do it. Shout out to all those players. Because again, these are those players that you look at. I think some with obviously bigger accolades, the ones that we got to watch more with national team, whatever it may be. Mal Weber, Christen Hamilton are still those players that this league is
Absolutely.
built on that don't always get the flowers that they deserve.
Mhm.
So add them on the graphic, attacking third / Dub Galazzo. I think they can all fit.
I love it. Honorary captains, they get the job done and they carry us through. They've been our big sisters from day one. And it has been such a pleasure to watch them, to cover them, to talk about their game over the last several years. Congratulations to all of them. And congrats to us, guys. We did it Sunday night. We made it through another A3. We have one more week left of Attacking Third NWSL regular season. It is decision day, November 2nd. Who is it going to be? Louisville, North Carolina, fighting for a spot in the postseason. And we take a break because it is now an international window. U.S. women's national team is in action on Thursday. That's the next A3 show. U.S. against Portugal Thursday night. You can watch it and then join us live right here on YouTube, on Galazzo Network, and of course, anywhere you get your podcast. Darian, Sandra, final thoughts before we hit the road?
I
love
it. It was great. It was great being back together. Love it.
This is a good one.
Love a reunion.
Love a reunion. Needs to happen more often.
We'll run it back soon. Thanks, everyone, so much for hanging with us. For Darian, Sandra, Phil, Courtney, I'm Lisa. This was Attacking Third.